again, and it's time for another retro game bargain hunt video, and this time I've only really got the pickups because I didn't get any footage. Call it laziness, or maybe it's the opportunity just didn't arise, but I didn't get any footage. But never mind, you know, I've got some really good stuff for all kinds of different systems, so yeah, there's a lot to get through. So yeah, let's crack right on. Now the first lot was actually from a guy who lives in my local area. He's also a collector. In fact, he's been collecting for a very long time. In fact, he's an old pro at it actually. So he's taught me a few things, but meeting him's like been really good because there's been nobody really in my local community that I can kind of like go game hunting with. So to meet this guy's called Scott, and he's a really cool guy, and he's hooked us up here with a trade. I got loads of that stuff off him. So yeah, I'll just show you these first. I gave him a copy of Wing Commander 3, I think. I picked it up for 99p in the charity shop sometime last year. And yeah, he really liked the game, so he just offered us a trade, and I'd said I'd been after a couple of PS1 games. It was Porsche Challenge on PS1 and Soviet Strike. Now these games aren't really like rare or hard to find, but for some reason I just never seem to see them in the charity shops and stuff, so I was really happy when he gave us these. And on top of that as well, he gave us Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Another game that I just can't seem to find wherever I go. Like, I see loads of PS2 games, but I never seem to see this. So yeah, brilliant. All these are complete in the box as well, so to get them off him was absolutely champion. He also hooked us up again with some doubles that he had, Time Splitters Future Perfect. I remember playing Time Splitters 2, I think it was, on PS2, and absolutely loving that back in the day. But apparently this has got like multiplayer, and you can play as like a monkey or something from what I've seen online. So that looks loads of fun. And Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. So yeah, I love me Tom Clancy Splinter Cell games, so that's going to be champion as well. And bearing in mind, these were gifts, do you know what I mean? So that was really nice of Scott to do that. He also gave his driver, the original driver, just the disc. But you know what I mean, I get to play the game. So to get that was just absolutely champion. And Rayman Raving Rabbits. I'm a massive Rayman fan, and the guy that gave us this, Scott, he's a massive Rayman fan as well. So to get this, I'm sure it's going to be pretty good on Wii. I think it kind of diverts a bit from what like the original Rayman is, with the Raving Rabbits kind of franchise that they went off on a bit of a tangent with. But I'm sure it'll be alright on Wii. And all them, thank you very much, Scott. It's massively appreciated, because really I think I handed over like one PS1 game and he gave us this massive stack of games. I felt a bit bad, but I guess that's what collecting's about, you know what I mean? Helping fellow collectors, and like I say, he's an old pro, and I'm sure he's got loads of doubles. Right then, next up I went to a second-hand shop that I frequent quite a bit, and you know, I've picked through the guy's stock loads and loads, but it's a fun place to go and just roll your sleeves up and have a bit of a rummage. So I knew he had a few PS1 games still knocking around, so I went in there and I picked up Rugrats Studio Tour. I don't know much about this, but I think it's just like a bunch of mini games. But I loved Rugrats as a kid, but when PlayStation came out I was kind of in my teens, so I think I was probably a bit too old to play these games, so they kind of passed us by. So I'm sure me and the Ben will have fun with that. Gran Turismo 2, brilliant racing game, absolutely brilliant. I've picked up quite a few racing games in this stack here. You've seen Porsche Challenge already, but out of all them and all of the PS1 racing games, Gran Turismo 2 is my favourite. It's just, you know, there's so much like depth to it. You know, you've got to pass your driving tests. You know, there's loads of different models of cars, and you can set them up in different ways depending on driving style, and they introduced rallying, and honestly the depth in this game is absolutely fantastic. So to get this, absolutely chuffed to bits. Next, Charlie's Angels. Now you're thinking, why the hell has he got Charlie's Angels? That's a terrible game, but that's exactly why I want it. Exactly the same as the Mary Kate and Ashley game. I've seen a video online and it just looks absolutely friggin' terrible, so I've got to give it a go, and if anything it's going to be good for a laugh. So I picked all them up from that second-hand shop for £5, so I looked at it as £2 each for the PlayStation 1 games and £1 for Charlie's Angels. So for £1 it's got to be worth the laugh. Right, then next I took a trip to a couple of charity shops, and one of them was pretty reasonably priced, and I found a copy of Dynasty Warriors 2 on PS2, $1.99, you know, a decent price for it, but it's an amazing game and I never seem to see it. It's one of them games that I don't seem to come across, and yeah, it's just basically you're chucked in the middle of a battle. It's maybe like a samurai or a warrior, and you've kind of just got to mow down just, you know, countless enemies and just lead your your army to victory basically, and it's just loads and loads of fun. There's a real deep story that goes along with it. I can't remember much else about it because I played this when it first came out, and God, I think that wasn't long after PS2 was released. So I'm looking forward to playing this again. So $1.99, fair price, but when you think of this next massive stack, I paid 50p a game for, so I could have gotten 4 in the other shop, but $1.99, never mind. Yeah, like I say, 50p for all these games. I'd seen loads of uncommon PS2 games, not that they're rare or anything, but I never seem to come across them like in the wild, and they're really, really good games. So I picked up a bunch, and I went to the front of the counter, and every single game was marked with a number 17 sticker on the spine. So basically I knew every game was going to be the same price, and I don't know, they'd refer to like, I don't know, like a book or something that they'd have with like sticker numbers and how much that would cost, whatever. So I asked, and she asked out the back, and I heard in the back the wifey was just like, oh, just knocking them out for 50p a piece. So I was just like, happy days. So I went back and I kind of cleared the shelf, and I got about 12 games from there or something. So yeah, like I say, a few like kind of uncommon ones, and I'll pull them out first because I don't really see these. And for 50p each, I mean, you kind of turn your back on them. I mean, 2 games for £1, and there's some really good games. First one, hurdy-gurdy, absolutely fantastic, kind of like open world sort of puzzle game where it's really hard to describe, but the story's absolutely brilliant and the visuals are absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to playing this. I never actually played it back in the day, but I did play a demo of it, and yeah, I always did want to play it. And I've never ever seen it, and I'd totally forgotten about it until I bumped into it in this charity shop. 50p, absolute bargain. Looney Tunes back in action. Now, I don't know much about this game either. I think this is another like a 3D platforming game set in the Looney Tunes universe. And yeah, anything Looney Tunes or Disney cartoon related, I tend to just pick up because, you know, I'm sure they're going to be good, and I kind of love the characters as well. And I've never heard of this game, never seen it, so you know, it's kind of weird just coming across it, and yeah, just kind of like rare to see. I mean, it's usually generic FIFA games. And this went on. I found Disney's Donald Duck PK. Never heard of this game either, but I knew it was going to be good. It's Ubisoft, and I remember I'd played Donald Duck Quack Attack on PS2, and that's brilliant as well. And I think it's kind of like the same sort of game. It's Crash Bandicoot style-y, you know, like a kind of platformer, but you're moving like forward, like in the third person behind the character. And yeah, I looked online, and these go for quite a bit, a lot more than 50p. Like some of these games are going for like £2–3, which isn't much, but you know, when I'm picking them up for 50p, and on top of delivery with eBay as well, do you know what I mean? Next up, the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Now, this looks like the game that came out to coincide with the movie Hulk, which was a terrible movie, but the game was quite good. It had loads of like destructible environments, and this looks exactly the same, but like set more in the Incredible Hulk's cartoon universe. So this looks really, really good, and I was chuffed to see this. 50p as well, you know, you kind of can run, and it's made by Sierra, so yeah, it could be really, really good. I'm looking forward to checking some of these games out, but there's so much, it's going to take us a while to get through them. Like, I've got a backlog of games to get through. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. All I know about this game is it's set in the prequel universe, and yeah, Jango Fett, and basically, you know, you're a bounty hunter and you've just got to hunt down targets. Like a third-person shooter, I think it is. And I'd never heard of this one either, and I've never seen it on the shelves out in the wild at charity shops. And I can't allow looking for stuff. So to get that for 50p as well, absolutely amazing. Now there was more, but it's pretty generic stuff that I do see every now and again. But for 50p, I wasn't going to leave it on the shelf. Like, I might not pay £2 for these games, but I'll certainly pay 50p for them. Duel Masters. This is by Atari, and it's like a card combat game, like turn-based. And yeah, the visuals just look like really impressive, and didn't know much about it, but apparently it's like a card collecting thing. I've looked online, and yeah, it just looks fun. So I picked that up for 50p. The cover's all like shiny, so that might have had something to do with it. Conflict Desert Storm 2. Very much one of those kind of tactical games like the Tom Clancy games. I picked up SOCOM 2 Navy SEALs, and that's pretty much the same kind of thing. I think like a third-person shooter, but you're kind of in command and controlling your squad mates and moving them around the battlefield, putting them in strategic positions on the battlefield, you know, to kind of get you know, the best firing points and you know, flank the enemy and things like that. So I mentioned in the video I got so home. I love that kind of tactical aspect of shooters, because I'm not really a fan of just running into combat and shooting everything. I think that's boring. I like to, you know, think ahead, and this is loads and loads of fun. I do remember playing this. I think I actually rented it from Blockbuster. God, now we're going back a while. Right, 007 Nightfire. I see this all the time, but the only reason I want it's for the multiplayer, so me and my son can play it, because we love Killzone. We love playing Killzone, the multiplayer of that, and battling each other. And I think this has got a really good multiplayer, like obviously local multiplayer, not online, because they didn't have online multiplayer back then. So yeah, chuffed to get this as well for 50p. Not going to leave it there. Call of Duty Finest Hour. I'm not a massive Call of Duty fan. I mean, I've played some of the Modern Warfares and things, but yeah, this is one of the ones that's set in World War II. So I had to pick it up really, because I like me World War II shooters. It was a massive thing back on PlayStation and PlayStation 2. It kind of faded out, but yeah, Call of Duty Finest Hour. I see these kind of World War II Call of Duty games all the time in the charity shops, but you know, when they're like £1.99, £3, I'm not going to get it, but when they're 50p, I'm snapping that up. The next one, really good game, Rayman Revolution. I've already got this game, but I must have forgotten, and I just picked it up. I just seen Rayman, I was like, oh, 50p, I'll buy it. So I've got a spare Rayman Revolution. I think the other one I've got, not the platinum one. I think it's just the standard black box. So yeah, everyone loves Rayman. So all of them, like 50p each. I mean, you can't complain. Oh God, I got a DVD as well. This stood out like a sore thumb. Street Fighter Alpha Generations DVD. I don't know nothing about it. I'm really good at these videos because I know nothing about the stuff. I just kind of pick it up. But yeah, it's kind of like a manga, anime, like story of Street Fighter, and there's a few of them from what I've read up on. And yeah, this is the third in that installment, and it just follows Ryu on some crazy ass story, and I'm sure it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I'm going to have to try and find the other ones as well. That was 50p as well, but that was just set up with all the games, so I don't know if they'd seen Street Fighter and just put it in the games, but I seen Street Fighter and I pulled it out and I knew I was going to get it. So all them 50p. I mean, however, you kind of got wrong, and there's still more to come. I got some really good retro stuff coming up, so let's crack right on. Alright then, the next bit, I think I might need to kind of apologise to the British Heart Foundation, because I don't know if you've seen a video a few weeks ago. It was my bargain hunt video. I'd picked up footage and I'd shown loads of games on the shelf. There was like Max Payne 3 that I pointed out, and I'd said they've overpriced it. It was $3.99 and they have overpriced it, and to be honest, I went back to that shop just looking to see what I could find, and all those games were still there. Me and the guy I mentioned before, Scott, were talking about it, and he goes into that shop quite a bit, and he'd noticed all them games were still sat there, because he's not going to pay that price either. And both of us have told the staff about that, how these games are overpriced, and they're pricing them by the buy it now price on eBay, not the actual selling price and stuff. But to be fair, I must have caught them, what do the game chasers say, I caught them slipping, because I found a copy of Golden Axe on Mega Drive for £7. Now, I know this strictly doesn't fall under my bargain hunt videos, because it's usually under £5, but however, I mean, it's £7 for a Golden Axe game in its box, and I never find cartridge-based games out in the wild, and I've booked that trend in this video because I found more stuff as well. It's been a really, really good week, and these are the parts that I've picked up that I'm the most chuffed about. So yeah, Golden Axe, £7 from the British Heart Foundation, the same shop that I was slating for overpricing their PS2 games. They must be pricing their Mega Drive games right, or underpricing them, because when I looked online at eBay, its actual selling prices, you know, £7 a really good deal. There's no manual, but you know what I mean, I really don't care. If I see a box Mega Drive game in a charity shop for £7, I'm in that charity shop all the time, and I never find cartridge based games, so chuffed to bits with that. So at that point I was pretty chuffed to bits, and I didn't really plan on going bargain hunting anymore. You know, I thought I had enough for the 2 weeks, but me and Scott got talking, the guy I mentioned before, and he talked about a Granger Games. Now, I don't know if anybody knows Granger Games. I don't know how far they stretch across the country. I think they're pretty localised to the northeast, but they're just like a game retail store where, you know, you trade in games and stuff, just like CEX or GameStation, GameStop, all of them kinds of things. But I think they're more localised to like the northeast of England, really. So I got some really good retro things from them, and Scott had mentioned it, and I wasn't really, you know, I was chuffed to bits with that, and I didn't really think I needed to get any more, you know, to get a cartridge based game in charity shop for a decent price. I thought I was set for the 2 weeks and I had a nice video planned. But then yesterday Scott got in touch with the guy that I mentioned before, and he talked about a Granger Games. And basically, I don't know if you know what Granger Games is. I think they're pretty localised to the northeast. But it's basically like a CEX store or a GameStop or a game station where, you know, you go to trade in your games. But most of them in the in my local area just kind of sell, you know, your generic PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, you know, etc. Maybe it's the odd PS2 game. So when he said he goes to this place and they've got loads of quite a bit of like retro stuff, like cartridge based stuff, I was like, oh, well then let's go. So we went, and honestly, like, I've got to thank him for this. He wasn't lying. There was loads of good stuff to choose from, and yeah, the prices were really reasonable as well. So I've got to thank Granger Games. Bearing in mind this is a retail store, and these guys just charge like not really much for cartridge based games that you'd pay a hell of a lot more for online. So I was absolutely chuffed to bits. I got Echo the Dolphin on Mega Drive in box, no manual. But I got this for £4. Now I thought that was a fantastic deal, and like I said before, I don't find like cartridge based games, like real retro games, out in the wild. So to find this shop has just been, you know, an absolute revelation for me. I'm just like chuffed to bits, and I'm sure I'll be going there all the time, and I will get some footage. But yeah, Echo the Dolphin for £4 in box. Everyone knows Echo the Dolphin. It's just, there's no game like it. It's just an absolute beautiful game. You take control of a dolphin and you've just got to rescue the rest of your family basically. And it's really difficult, really challenging, but to play it's just really satisfying and a beautiful game. And for £4 in box from like a store, like a gaming shop, you know, you expect them to rip your eyeballs out. £4, chuffed to bits. Next I got as well, Super Nintendo game, Krusty's Super Fun House. £8 I paid for this. Now, like I say again, over my kind of £5 limit, but to find a cartridge based game out in the wild, and it's under a tenner, you pay a lot more for it online, and yeah, just to find that for £8 I had to pick it up. There was a few other things I was humming and hawing what I was going to get, but yeah, I wanted a Super Nintendo game, and it's Krusty's Super Fun House. And to be honest, the card is a bit crusty. Hey, get it? But it'll clean up nicely, and yeah, I've tested it and it works, but I should have cleaned it before I stuck it in my Super Nintendo, because it is absolutely manky. But yeah, £8, and I never find cartridge based games out in the wild, and I've found like Golden Axe, Echo the Dolphin and this, so chuffed to bits, and there was loads more there as well. So yeah, as far as other games they had there, they had PS2 games and PS1 games, so I went nuts. PS1 games, they've got like, oh god, I'd say about 100 that are just all there, marked up for £1.50 each. So each of these PS1 games were £1.50 each, and there's some pretty decent ones. Fade to Black, absolutely brilliant game. I remember the visuals stunned us as a kid, and I lent it off one of my friends and I couldn't get nowhere on it. So I'm hoping I can get further as an adult. But yeah, not like rare games, but it's just the price, £1.50 for PS1 games. I mean, you can't go wrong. Next, WWF Warzone. I remember playing a lot of this against friends as a kid before the SmackDown games came out. I remember when the WWF SmackDown games came out, they became like, you know, the staple for the WWF games. But before that it was kind of unsure, and you didn't know. I remember there was Attitude in Warzone. I remember playing a lot of Warzone, and this was £1.50 as well, so just champion, you know, bulking up my collection with games that I, you know, have a lot of nostalgia for, and I'll get a lot of fun playing. This next one as well, Ridge Racer Type 4. The box is a bit beat up, but I'm sure, you know, I know the disc's fine because I've checked the disc, the leather's checked the disc, and you know what they're like at retail shops, you know, they check all discs and stuff. And yeah, just absolutely brilliant high speed racing action, and I've picked up loads of racing games in this stack, Porsche Challenge, Gran Turismo, there was probably another one, but this is another classic PS1 racing game, and for £1.50 I wasn't leaving that on the shelf, like, no way. Next, Walt Disney The Jungle Book Groove Party. Now this is one of them timing based dance games. but I watched a Categories episode about it, and he just sold it to us. The visuals again just look absolutely amazing. It's got some great songs, and yeah, I mean, it's Walt Disney, so like I've said, you know, anything Disney or Warner Brothers or anything kind of cartoon related that sparks a nostalgic memory for me, I pick up. So £1.50, and it was funny, I was in the shop with Scott and we were looking through all these games and having a bit crack on. And I picked this up and put it on me to get pile straight away. And he was like, oh, do you know what that is? And then we had like a massive conversation about how good it was. And this is like two grown blokes talking about a groove party game that they really enjoy. It's just absolute madness. Right, also there as well, PS1 game. As soon as I picked this up, I knew I was taking it home. Beautiful Joe. Now the visuals, I've mentioned visuals a lot on this game, on this damn episode, but again they're just absolutely beautiful on this game. And with the PS2 version you get like a, it's got Dante in from Devil May Cry. This is made by Capcom, and oh god, I don't know how to describe this game. It's kind of like a comic book style, like beat 'em up, sort of shoot 'em up game. I seen it, I'm sure I seen it on a Game Sack episode. It might have been a Metal Jesus Rocks episode as well, but it was like highly recommended. And when I picked it up, I thought, this Capcom game, it's really good and really sought after. Surely it's got to be worth more than £1, which is all I paid for it. And when I went online, I came back home and it's selling for like £6–7. So I don't know what happened there, but I guess I caught Granger Games slipping. So chuffed to bits though with this. I'm looking forward to playing it, and the Ben's really looking forward to playing it. He's looked on the back. And ultimately the inclusion of Dante just sells it to us even more. So absolutely chuffed to bits. All of them games that I got from that Granger Games, that retail shop, I picked up this stack. And bearing in mind there's a Super Nintendo game, you know what they're like for going up in price at the minute. A box Mega Drive game and some, you know, generic PS1 and PS2 games. £19 I paid for that. That's an absolute bargain, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can end up bloody getting in bidding wars and end up going up to £19 just for a bloody loose Super Nintendo cart nowadays. So for a retail shop, very impressed, and I'll tell you just where it is, but I'm not going to because I want to go and clear a loot. Hey, right. Also, that was yesterday, and as I walked through the door, I stood on a package that had been delivered, and it was a copy of Defender of the Crown on NES. And I picked this up. This again breaks the £5 rule, but literally by £1 odd. I think it was £4.82. I won the bidding, and the postage was like £1.25 or something. So £6 odd for an NES game. Again, I'm breaking my own rules, but you know, these are still bargains, so they deserve to be in bargain hunt videos. And yeah, this is kind of just like a strategy game set in the Middle Ages. And there's loads of crazy stuff that goes on. I know there's like a jousting competition, I think, as well. And it was released by Palcom, which in the US were Ultra, and as we know, that was like a separate company by Konami, so they could release extra games on the NES because of Nintendo not wanting companies to release too many games because they thought they might flood the market with crap games. But so it's got ties to Konami, so you know, NES era game made by Konami, I'm sure it's going to be quite decent. And just adding to my collection as well for next to nout. So yeah, I mean, this pile is just absolutely ridiculous, and storing all this stuff's just getting absolutely crackers. So I need more shelves. Anyway, that was quite a long one, so thanks for sticking with us, people, and I'll leave you like I always do. Thank you very much for watching, and if you've enjoyed what you've seen, you know, please hit that like button. If you've enjoyed it in particular, please hit the subscribe button, and you know, leave us that comment, because you know, I love a bit of feedback. So yeah, cheers for watching, people, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. Bye!